Hello, my dear students. I hope you all are fine, and I wish you the best time of the day whenever you are watching this video. And now I am going to solve the question papers that, actually speaking, not the whole question paper, but the important questions which I found many of you people have done mistakes. I am going to go through those mistakes. Actually, we were preparing, we were doing our exam preparations, and for the exam preparation, paper number 1. I hope you all are having the question paper with you, because this may not look proper. So that is the reason I am not going to hold it for a long time. See, the first question they are telling is the expression 2 plus root 5 into 2 plus root 5 is what? See, my dear students, actually speaking, if this question paper, I'm not sure whether you are able to see this. See, if this question paper MCQ 1 mark, very well, I agree with this. If supposing this is in your board exams, I'm not even sure whether in your school they will allow it or not. It is possible that you just write the option and then you may get your marks. You are not very much expected to solve it, maybe, but you are expected also. But in my class, when you are going to solve my paper, definitely I want the solution of this. If you have not done the solution of this, I am going to cut you half marks. Okay, so now here, if we go to the first question, express whether this is the expression is this, what type of expression is this, that we have to identify. So here what happens, this is Hamesha Pawar. So here what happens, see, this is 2 plus root 5 into 2 plus root 5. See, my dear students, you can do it in any way. You can actually go and multiply this and then solve this, but it is very much easy that you understand this is nothing but whole square. And when you find this a plus b the whole square, 2 plus root 5 into 2 plus root 5 means 2 plus root 5 the whole square, you will get 4 plus 2 2s are 4 root 5 plus 5. So that is going to be 9 plus 4 root 5. Now, my dear students, this is very important topic that you have to understand. In this expression, 9 is an integer, 4 is an integer, but root 5 is an irrational number. It is not an integer. Root 5 is not an integer. This is an irrational number. So because this is an irrational number multiplied by any number, when you are multiplying irrational number by an integer or by another irrational number, it is going to be an irrational number. And then irrational number plus this, everything is going to be irrational. That's why this is going to be irrational. This expression is going to be irrational number. Okay, second one you all have understood very nicely. Going to the third one, this actually here HCF of 85 and 153. They have given that HCF of 85 and 153 is expressible, means it can be written in the form of 85n minus 153. It can be written in the form of this. What HCF of this can be written in the form of that? Find the value of n. See, therefore that first you should know what is the HCF of 85 and 153, and then when you solve this, you will come to know. I hope you all have known how to solve it. So you will find it that HCF of 85 and 153, you will find it to be 17. I hope you know how to find this. You can find it by Euclid's method, but I think it's now not there. You can find it by simple arithmetic method also. Okay, this is 17, and then 17 is equal to 85n minus 153. This is given, my dear students. That HCF is expressible. Expressible means it is equal to this. So this is then now you will have to solve this to get the value of n. For that you will shift minus 153 from here to here. It will become plus 153 is equal to 85n. Now you add this. This will become 170 is equal to 85n. Now 85 will go and divide on the other side, and you will get 85 1s are 85 2s are 2 5s are 10 2 8s are 17. Yes, n is equal to 2 will be your answer. Okay, my dear students, so in this way we have to solve this. And of course, question number 5, I don't know why this, actually there are still many people, many students who have got some confusions over here. See here, state whether it is a non-terminating repeating decimal. Whether it is a non-terminating repeating decimal, it will be decided that when the denominator has to be in the product of 2 raised to the power of m and 5 raised to the power of n, only this much. It should be in the powers of 2 and in the powers of 5 only. If we will factorize 6, we will get 3. Of course, square into 5 cube. So 3 is there, which is not supposed to be there, and it is there. So that's why it is a non-terminating fraction. Okay. Now going to the next one. Find the LCM of 72, 80, 120 using the fundamental arithmetic theorem of arithmetic. This is okay 9. Here again some students are doing a lot of mistakes. I don't know again why. Lots of miscalculations. I don't know why you people are doing these type of miscalculation. To prove that root 3 plus root 2 is an irrational number. See here, I'll tell, let us assume root 3 plus root 2 is a rational number. That is what we know. We know how to do that. Therefore, we can write root 3 plus root 2 in the form of a upon b, where a and b are integers. I am not going to write everything in detail, my dear students. A and b are integers. Okay, this we know. We can write this root 3 plus root 2 in the form of a upon b, where a and b are integers. This integers is very, very important. As I told you in the previous question here, why this is an irrational number. See, 9 is integer, 4 is integer, but root 5 is not an integer. Any number under the radical is not supposed to be an integer. Integers are only proper numbers: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 0 in middle, and then again minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, all positive numbers and all positive negative numbers. All positive numbers and all negative numbers with 0 in between and without any fraction, no fraction, then they are all integers. All those numbers who are under the radical are irrational numbers. So here what happens, because a and b are integers, so this is an integer and b also is an integer, therefore a and b will be a rational number. It will be a fraction, it will be a rational number. Why? Because a and b both are integers, we have considered in that way. So therefore we will get root 3 plus root 2 is equal to a upon b. Now we have considered this is a rational number. This has to be a rational number because a is an integer, b is an integer. So we have considered this as a rational number. Now you can do it in both the ways, my dear students. You can take one way, you can take square over here itself, taking square of both the sides. Root 3 plus root 2 the whole square is equal to a square upon b square. You can take it in this way. You just have to solve in such a way. Now if I open this by using an identity, I will get root 3 a square is 3 plus 2 into root 3 into root 2 will be root 6 plus 2, right, is equal to a square upon b square. I have to make this root 6 alone on its side. So this 3 plus 2 will become 5 and it will go on the other side. I will get 2 into root 6 is equal to a square upon b square, plus 5 will go on the other side, it will become minus 5. And you will get 2 root 6 is equal to a square minus 5b square upon b square. 2 is still remaining over here. 2 also goes on the other side. A square minus 5b square upon 2b square. Now here you cannot just say that a square. This is this is a rational number. Why this is a rational number? You have to write over there. Here we know a, comma b, comma 5, comma 2, all are a and b. We have already considered them as integers. 5 and 2 minus 5 or 5 are already integers. We know, I told you now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 up to infinity, and minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4 up to infinity are all integers. So these we have already considered them as integers. 5 and 2 are integers. Therefore Therefore, a square minus 5b square upon 2b square is a rational number. You have to write this reason. You just can't write that a square minus 5b square upon 2b square is a rational number. Why it is a rational number? Why you expect it to be a rational number? Because they are all integers involved over here. In the previous question, as we saw over here, there is a irrational number involved. That's why this whole thing becomes an irrational number. Here there is no such irrational number involved. You have to bring it to notice, and then therefore root 2 is a rational number. You have to write it over here, because root 2 is equal to this, and if this is a rational number, this also has to be a rational number. But root 2, I told you, all those under the radical are irrational number, but we know root 2 is an irrational number. This contradiction arises because our assumption is a wrong assumption. If anybody has solved it in this fashion, root 3 plus root 2 is equal to a upon b. Some people have taken root 3 on the other side, so you get root 2 is equal to a upon b minus root 3. Here also, especially in the next question, many students have not taken care of signs. When you are shifting terms from here to there, and if you are not paying attention on the sign, it is very dangerous. Now if you go to take the square of both the sides, you will get a upon b minus root 3 the whole square. And now if you will apply, this root 2 square will become 2. This will become a square upon b square minus 2 root 3 upon b, root 3a, 2 root 3a upon b plus 3. Now if you will pay attention over here, there is only one radical over here, and that is root 3, and you will have to make this alone, root 3. So I will have to shift all of this over there. So this also goes over there. I'll get what? Instead of, now see, if I shift this over there, this stays as minus 2 root 3 upon 2 root 3a upon b. Why should I keep this as minus? So instead of shifting everybody over there, I'll shift this minus 2 root 3a upon b over here and make it positive. And make it positive, okay? 2 root 3a upon b over here and make it positive, and this becomes a square upon b square plus 3 minus 2. So what do I get over here is 2 root 3 a upon b is equal to a square plus 3 minus 2 will become plus 1 plus b square upon b square. Now this 2a upon b will shift over there. Root 3 is equal to a square plus b square into 2a will go and sit in the denominator upon b square is already there, this is already there, b goes over there, this cancels, 1b will get cancelled, and you will get root 3 is equal to a square plus b square upon 2a. See, these values have to be same, you just can't ignore it. Here again you will have to tell, bring it to notice, a comma b comma 2 are integers. That's why a square plus b square upon 2a is a rational number. Therefore root 3 is a rational number. But we know root 3 is an irrational number. This contradiction arises. It is like this. If I would have taken root 3 on the other side, maybe whatever it is. So this is how you are going to solve. Even one more question is there. Over there, so many students have done a lot of mistakes. See, you have to take care of, prove that 7 minus root 2 root 2. Here I'll again tell, let us assume 7 minus 2 root 2 is a rational number. Let us assume this. You have to write completing over here. Let us assume 7 minus 2 root 2 is a rational number. Therefore, we can write it in the form of a upon b, where a and b are integers. Okay, coprime integers are not needed over here. They are only needed when we know that when we have to show only root 2 is a rational number. So 7 minus 2 root 2 is equal to a upon b. Now here again same thing I will have to do. I will have to, now here instead of taking square over here, I'll shift this. Now this is the problem many students have done. See, if you know you want this to be alone, you are shifting 7 over there, then you can't write 2 root 2 is equal to a upon b minus 7. You shifted 7 over there and you got minus 7, but you did not shift 2 root 2, so this has to stay minus 2 root 2. Many students have written 2 root 2 and then they have done that. It is not going to be, it is definitely, means no reason it is going to be wrong. What you will do, the expression that you will get in the end is definitely going to be wrong. Some students have bothered to take this over here, but then they wrote 7 plus a upon b is equal to 2 root 2. You can't do this. When you are shifting a term anywhere, the sign of that term is going to change. Who you are not shifting, you have to keep the same. It is so basic. Here many students have just lost their marks and you will not get a single, means not even a half mark. It is going to be completely wrong. It is wrong. So here if I consider that this way, if I am going to go, minus 2 root 2 is equal to a upon b minus 7. I can now change the signs, so this will become 2 root 2 is equal to 7 minus a upon b. I will make this minus and I will make this minus, I will make plus, this plus I will make minus. One student is there, I think Dhruv or something, Dhruv I think. He has very intelligently done it in this way. This is really a very intelligent way of doing. Otherwise you can even do like this. Just shift 2 root 2 over there. This is again a smart way of doing, and shift a upon b over here, 7 minus a upon b. So because you shifted the negative term on the other side, you will get that minus 2 root 2 as plus 2 root 2, and a upon b you shift over here, it will become minus a upon b. Okay my dear student, so that, and then you will be able to solve it. See, same you will be getting over here and here. And then now you will take the square of both the sides, or you can solve this first, 7b minus a upon b, and then shift 2 also on the other side. And now take the, no need of taking any square. There is no need of taking any square, because root 2 has come alone. Already it is alone. There is no need of taking any square. Here same thing, because a, b, 7, 2 are integers. That's why 7b minus a upon 2b is a rational number, because it is going to be, it can become a fraction. Why it is a rational number? Rational number means any fractions, or in integers fractions are not there. 2, 3, 4, 5, these are integers, but the numbers in between, are you getting? That is 5 upon 2 type of numbers which are there in going to be, like many more numbers are there. These numbers are not included in integers, but rational numbers has everything. They have this, they have integers all. So this is going to be some rational number. I don't know, it is not going to be completely divisible and end up into a whole number. It is not necessary. So even if it is not ending up into a whole number, even if it is ending up into a fraction, a normal fraction, it is still going to be a rational number. That is the meaning of this. But we know root 2 is not a rational number. Root 2 is an irrational. This contradiction arises because of so and so, so and so, so and so. Okay. Now fourth one is again very easy, and fifth one also is easy. Going to the next one. Here also, those who have done just written the answers, I have not given marks to anybody. But one thing, very solid basics my students have lost. See, there is a big difference between 0 and alpha plus beta, alpha into beta. These are sum of zeros. These are product of zeros. This has a formula which is equal to minus b upon a. This has a formula which is equal to c upon a. 0 has no formula as such. You have to find 0 by some or the other method, by factorization method, by formula method, and Cramer's rule is not there for you now this time. Are you getting? Completing the square method. You have to find 0. But when it comes to questions based on 0, there are, again I told you my dear students, this is the start of the chapter. Two types of questions are possible. First of all, what is a 0? First of all, what is a 0? This 0, see. I told you 0 is that value. 0 is that value of x. That value of x, which when you substitute in the polynomial, then the remainder will be, the end answer will be 0. This 0 now. Only those value when you substitute in place of x, then the end answer will be 0. That is called as ZERO0. And these are sum of zeros. Alpha is a, if you take alpha separately, it is a 0. That also you have to assume. And beta separately, it is a 0, definitely. Now coming over here, if alpha and beta are the zeros of f of x, and alpha plus beta is equal to alpha into beta. Okay. See here what happens. Now this is an equation they have given. Alpha and beta are zeros they have given. They are zeros. So now these formulas, alpha plus beta is equal to minus b upon a, alpha into beta is equal to c upon a, are applicable because they are zeros. They already are zeros. These formulas are applicable only when we know zeros are there. They are zeros. So here f of x is equal to px square minus 2x plus 3p. So you know that a is equal to p, b is equal to minus 2 and c is equal to 3. You don't have to write in detail that comparing with ax square plus bx plus c we get, no, but at least write it over there so I come to know what is going on into your brain. Write it for me. I should know that you have solved from your brain and what you have thought when you are solving this. So now you write alpha plus beta is equal to minus b upon a, minus minus plus 2 upon a is 2 upon p. Alpha into beta is equal to c upon a, c is 3 upon p. Now they have given alpha plus beta is equal to alpha into beta. Therefore 2 upon p is equal to what is this? क्या किया मैंने? Alpha plus beta is equal to alpha into beta. Okay. Sorry, it is 3p. 3p upon p. So this p and this p goes. So you get. This is what we have got. So now p goes over there and you get 2 upon 3. This solution you have to show. You just can't write over there. Okay. And now comes the terrific question. These questions are very, very important. See, and there are big amount of formulas also available over here, which I think I had. See, when you know the formulas of alpha plus beta the whole square is equal to alpha square plus 2 alpha beta plus beta square. We have learned the a plus b the whole square. Similarly, we know it is equal to alpha square minus 2 alpha beta plus beta square. We know alpha square minus beta square is equal to alpha plus beta into alpha minus beta. This we know. Do we know formula for alpha square plus beta square? No, there is no expansion formula as such, but definitely there is a formula, and that will be two formulas. It depends on the question, that is what information is present in the question. Alpha square plus beta square can be equal to, if you know alpha plus beta the whole square, then alpha plus beta the whole square minus alpha beta. If this is plus over here, it will be minus alpha beta over here. Or it can also be alpha minus beta the whole square plus 2 alpha beta. Just a minute, let me confirm. See, to confirm it, actually I don't by heart, that is my problem. See, I can show you how I am getting this alpha square plus beta square. See, there are two formulas. You know these formulas. Alpha plus beta the whole square is equal to alpha square plus 2 alpha beta. It is 2 alpha beta plus beta square. Now here it is there, alpha square plus beta square. If I keep them over here, then I have to shift this on the other side. What do I get? Alpha plus beta the whole square minus 2 alpha beta. This is how the formula has come. Similarly, if I have got alpha minus beta the whole square is equal to alpha square minus 2 alpha beta plus beta square. Again I have got alpha square plus beta square. So this will be equal to alpha minus beta the whole square plus 2 alpha beta. Like this, these two formulas are there. Alpha square plus beta square is equal to alpha plus beta the whole square minus 2 alpha beta. And alpha square plus beta square is also equal to alpha minus beta the whole square plus 2 alpha beta. These both formulas are applicable. And it depends. And again, one more formula is there. See, here it is the relation between alpha square plus beta square. Alpha square plus beta square. Whereas we know alpha square minus beta square is equal to this. What about alpha plus beta the whole square? Alpha plus beta the whole square, instead of using this formula, I can have relation between them. Alpha plus beta the whole square is equal to alpha minus beta the whole square plus 4 alpha beta. And also alpha minus beta the whole square is equal to alpha plus beta the whole square minus 4 alpha beta. These all formulas are very important, my dear students. All these formulas are very important. If you want, I will write it once more for you all people. See, so you can take a screenshot of this. Alpha square plus beta square is equal to alpha plus beta the whole square minus 2 alpha beta, or it is also equal to alpha minus beta the whole square plus 2 alpha beta. These are the two formulas. And why there are two formulas? It will depend question. If the question has the information of this, so you will use this formula. If a question has the information of alpha minus beta, so you will use the formula for alpha minus beta. It's so simple. Then we have got alpha plus beta the whole square. It is also equal to alpha minus beta the whole square plus 4 alpha beta. Alpha minus beta the whole square is also equal to alpha plus beta the whole square minus 4 alpha beta. Of course, we have formulas on cubes also, but at present now, this is what is there. So these formulas are there. Why do you require this? If alpha and beta are the zeros of the polynomial so and so, 1 upon alpha plus 1 upon beta is equal to what? Now here what happens, one of the students, I don't remember whether it is Rahul or Dhruv or some of the student, but definitely a very good student of mine, all are good students. What mistake has been done? 4x square plus 3x plus 7. Let p of x be equal to this. Fine. Now what happens? This definitely is a nice technique. That student has tried to find the values of the zeros by factorization method. Okay, by factorization method, student has tried to find the value of the zeros. What happens over here? But when you go to find the value of the zero factorization method, 4 7s is 28, and this is what? Plus 28. Now if you go to find two numbers who will give 3, then of course it is 7 4s are 28 only, because that is going to give 7 minus 4 3. Then you take this as a middle sign of the greater number, it will become plus, and this becomes minus. And now if we'll counter check it, my dear students, 7 into minus 4 will be what? Minus 28. Whereas you want plus 28. This is not a right split. That student has solved everything properly, and he has not come to know that a wrong has been done. You can't factorize this. You simply can't factorize this. Even if you write it like this, 4x square minus 4x plus 7x plus 7 is equal to 0. You can factorize this step, x minus 1 plus 7 into, what about this, x plus 1 you will get. How can you now factorize it again? Because they are opposite signs now. You can't take a second factor now. If you actually go to solve this, even if you will use the formula method, there will be no zeros don't exist. You can't solve it by that method, unfortunately. But if supposing if you would have been able to solve it, then definitely getting those values of alpha beta and then taking the reciprocal 1 upon alpha plus 1 upon beta and adding them was the right technique, was definitely a right concept, right idea. But unfortunately here the battle was lost. Okay, and then what you will do over here? So you have to find 1 upon alpha plus 1 upon beta. So to find 1 upon alpha plus 1 upon beta, you should know what actually, if you solve this, you'll get what? Beta plus alpha means alpha plus beta in the numerator, and in the denominator you will get this. So basically this is 1 upon alpha plus 1 upon beta is actually alpha plus beta upon alpha into beta. If you find this and this, you can find same thing. Now this is rough work I told. Now p of x, we don't have to do the MCQ way. 4x square plus 3x plus 7. So we know a is equal to 4, b is equal to 3, and c is equal to 7. So we know alpha plus beta minus b upon a, alpha into beta, c upon a, and this is what we need, because we know 1 upon alpha plus 1 upon beta is going to beta plus alpha, means I am writing alpha plus beta upon alpha into beta. Alpha plus beta is what? Minus 3 upon 4 into alpha into beta is in the denominator. So I will reciprocate this and write minus 3 upon 7 is the answer. Are you getting? Slowly, steadily. You don't have to write everything in detail, but you have to know that this what he was asked is actually of this form, and that's why you have to find this first. Definitely finding roots and then doing it would have given the right answer if we would have got the proper roots. I am just wondering whether I have got any other equation. Supposing if the same question, and I don't want to complicate it much. Okay, my dear students, so yes, here I am. I hope. So now the next one is third one. Here again, many of you all have done nicely, few students have done wrong. See here, y is equal to p of x, the number of zeros. The number of zeros is where the graph will cut the x-axis. It has to cut x-axis. Where and how many times it is cutting y-axis is not my botheration. Where and how many times it is cutting x-axis is my botheration. One student has written z-axis. I don't know from where he got that z. So x-axis is getting cut. In first question it is getting cut over here 1, and it is touching x-axis over here 2. So that's why the answer will be 2. In this case it is cutting x-axis only here. This is y-axis, no botheration. Y-axis, no botheration. So here the answer will be 1. In this case it is cutting x-axis how many places? 1, 2, 3, 4 places. The answer will be 4. Okay, where it is cutting x-axis, that you have to check. This is one of the nice questions. If a and b are zeros of the polynomial x square minus 5x plus k, now here also they have given they are zeros. Remember, they are zeros. They are zeros, so I can use the formula such that a minus b is equal to 1. Find the value of k. This actually question is a very nice dramatic question. Few students have solved it very nicely, but many have got trapped. Here we know that x square minus 5x plus k, if this is the polynomial, then we know a is equal to 1, b is equal to minus 5, c is equal to k. Comparing this with, of course we have to write, comparing this with ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, we get a is equal to 1, b is equal to minus 5, c is equal to k. Now a and b are zeros. Remember, it is not alpha and beta now. A and if a and b are zeros, so now this will create confusion. This should never be done. Now it is a problem. We will consider alpha and beta only. Let alpha and beta be the zeros, because this really creates confusion. Therefore alpha plus beta means the sum of the roots is going to be minus b upon a, minus b minus 5 plus 5 upon a is 1. The alpha plus beta will be 1. Fine, means alpha plus beta, and they have given a minus b is equal to 1. This is a and b, means alpha, but alpha minus beta is equal to 1. Now this we have got alpha plus beta is equal to 5, 1, alpha minus beta is equal to 1. Are you getting my point? Alpha plus beta is equal to 5 is your one equation. Alpha minus beta is equal to 1 is your second equation. You can solve this by linear equations method, and you have to show that. Many students have just written solving it. We get a is equal to so and so, b is equal to so and so. You can't do that. You have to solve it. You have to write it over here, adding equations 1 and 2. What I get? Alpha plus beta is equal to 5, alpha minus beta is equal to 1. I am adding them. This gets cut 2 alpha is equal to 5 plus 1, 6, and alpha is equal to 3 you will get. Similar, now beta if I substitute over there, alpha if I substitute over here, alpha plus beta is equal to 5, 3 plus beta is equal to 5, beta is equal to 5 minus 3, beta is equal to 2. I got this. So now what are they asking me? Find the value of k. Now what is k involved? K is equal to c. Okay, I can get it from anywhere. K is equal to beta. C is the sorry. Okay, now I'll have to find alpha into beta then. Alpha into beta is what? C upon A. C is involved over there. Here C is not involved. Here nowhere C is involved. C is involved only in alpha into beta ka formula. So alpha into beta is equal to C upon A. So alpha into beta is equal to C is what? K upon 1. So therefore K will be equal to alpha into beta. 3 into 2, so K will be equal to 6. Like this you will get. Of course you can definitely use, if supposing it doesn't click you, that solving it by linear equation method is possible. It doesn't click you. Then you can still do alpha plus beta is equal to 5, alpha minus beta is equal to 1. You know alpha into beta is equal to C upon A, that is equal to K. Are you getting? This is your third. You continue in this way. Alpha plus beta is equal to 5 by formula. Alpha plus beta is equal to minus b upon A is equal to 5. Alpha plus beta is equal to 5. Alpha minus beta is equal to 1 is given. Alpha into beta you will find C upon A is equal to K. Now you can still use the formula. What is that? Alpha plus beta, any formula you can use. Alpha plus beta is equal to alpha minus beta the whole square plus 4 alpha beta. You can use this even now. So what is that? Alpha plus beta is equal to what? 5. Alpha minus beta the whole square is 1 square. 4. Alpha into beta is equal to k. Solve this. 5 is equal to 1 plus 4k. This goes on the other side. Oh, minus 1 is equal to 4k. 4 upon 4 is equal to k. Nah, something I have missed. Oh, here it is square, my dear student. Alpha plus beta the whole square is equal to alpha minus beta the whole square plus 4. So this will become 5 square, 25. This never happens. That's what I'm telling you. This will come like this. So 25 minus 1 will be 24 is equal to 4k. 24 upon 4 is equal to k. Therefore, k is equal to 6. This is the formula that I wrote wrong. You can solve it by any method. I hope you all are getting. If there is still some confusion, then actually why some students may find it confusing, the reason is that I am solving it by both the methods. If I solve it by only one method and ask you to stick to that one method, then you will find it very easy, but then that is not the right way. You have to know it by all the possible methods. I'll still explain you. One more time I'll do one thing. I'll solve separately both the questions. I don't want any confusion in anybody's brain. And this actually you all have to write alpha and beta. Okay? I don't want any confusion in anybody's brain. I'm sorry if actually it is going to be repeated for somebody else. So here I'll tell let x square minus 5x plus k be equal to 0. Comparing with ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, a is equal to 1, b is equal to minus 5, and c is equal to k. Usual method which is applicable everywhere. I am doing it by that method. Now alpha plus beta is equal to minus b upon a is equal to minus 5 minus 5 upon 1, that is equal to 5. So alpha plus beta is equal to 5. Alpha into beta is equal to c upon a, that is equal to k upon 1 is equal to k. This is 2. And they have given alpha minus beta is equal to 1. This is given. Now by formula, we know alpha, you can use any formula, alpha plus beta the whole square is equal to alpha minus beta the whole square plus 4 alpha beta. Either this formula, or you can also use, see, that's what I'm telling, don't get confused if I say this also or this also. Why I have to tell both the cases? Because some students may be having confusion. Why will I think about only this formula? Why should I not think about this formula? Some students may have confusion. Why should I, what is making me, sir, Dev sir, think that I should use this formula, I should not use this formula? Some students may think in that way, because what is the difference between the two? There is no difference between the two. Actually, it is just rearranging of the terms. So that's why I am telling you, don't get confused. Even if you use this formula, even if you use this formula, you will still get the same answer. You use any formula. Okay. So then alpha plus beta the whole square, this will be 5 square is equal to alpha minus beta the whole square is equal to 1 square plus 4 into alpha beta is equal to k. This becomes 25 is equal to 1 plus 4k. 25 minus 1 is equal to 4k. 24 is equal to 4k. Therefore, k is equal to 24 upon 4. K is equal to 6. This is how you will solve. And then, otherwise, the same question, those who want to make it faster or maybe not, let this be equal to 0. Again, the same thing, comparing with ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. A is equal to 1, b is equal to minus 5, c is equal to k. I will write alpha plus beta is equal to minus b upon a is equal to minus 5 upon 1. So alpha into beta is equal to c upon k, c upon a, that is equal to k upon 1. So these are my two values, and alpha minus beta is equal to 1 is given. So instead of using that formula, when I have both, then I will tell alpha plus beta is equal to 5, alpha minus beta is equal to 1, adding 1 and 2. Alpha plus beta is equal to 5, alpha minus beta is equal to 1, 6. So you get alpha is equal to 3. And then you substitute alpha over there. This is what you will get. So alpha is equal to 3 beta, and now you know k is equal to alpha beta. You can do it by any method, but remember, this is the universal method. But in this given case, it becomes slightly lengthy method. Okay, now going to the next one. Find the quadratic polynomial, each with the given numbers as sum and product of the zeros. This most of you all have done right, so I will not go for solving this. Find the zeros of the following polynomial. This also most of you all have done right, but still 4 root 3x square plus 5x minus 2 root 3 is equal to 0. So here what happens, definitely you will multiply this with this, means you will get 4 root 3 into minus 2 root 3. This and this you will multiply. So it will become plus minus minus. 4 to the 8, root 3 into root 3, 3, that will give you 24, minus 24. You want 5 to be over there. So 24, it will be given by whom? 8 3s are 24. 8 3s are 24, you want plus. This goes over here, minus. If you multiply this, it becomes minus 24. This is very important. You have to confirm the split if it is right by multiplying. Minus 8 into minus 3 is minus 24. Then it is a right split. So now I write 4 root 3 x square plus 8x minus 3x minus 2 root 3. So here what do I get? 4 and x goes as a common factor, 4x root 3x 2. Fine. 4 root 3x square 8x. Minus has gone out. Now if you take nothing out, then you will get 3x minus 2 root 3 inside, which is going to be a big problem. You will have to factorize this, and root 3 can be a factor, common factor. If I take root 3 outside, then root 3 into root 3 will give me 3x. Minus has gone outside, plus root 3 has gone outside, 2 is equal to 0, and now this is right. You have to take this root 3. Some students, less number of students, but they have done this mistake. These two brackets should come equal. Don't manipulate and bring them equal. If they are not coming equal, that means something is going wrong somewhere. Therefore now this is okay. Now rest is this is done. Okay. Now this question, many students have done a blunder over there, lost all the marks. Verify that minus 2 and minus 5 are the zeros. You have to verify that minus 2 minus 5 are the zeros of the polynomial of this. I told you, remember what is a 0? 0 is that value which value is substituted in the place of x. The end answer should be 0. End answer should be 0. That is what you have to do. You have to write p of x is equal to x square plus 7x plus 10 for x is equal to minus 2. You will get p of minus 2 is equal to minus 2 square plus 7 into minus 2 plus 10. P of minus 2 is equal to, you will solve this, 4 minus 14 plus 10. This will become 0. Since p of minus 2 is equal to 0, therefore minus 2 is 0 of given polynomial. And what you people have done is that many of you all people have actually, everybody has got their own method. Some people have x square plus 7x plus 10. You have actually factorized this, found the factors, and when the factors came to be minus 2 and 5, then you told that they are the zeros. I don't say this is wrong, this logic can be right, but then this is not supposed to be solved. You just have to confirm. See, when you solve something extra, then also you don't get marks. Nobody has asked you to find the zeros of this by factorization method or by formula method or by any other method. They have asked you only to confirm whether these are the zeros. If supposing this would have not been the zeros, then you would have not got over that, then you would have told that this is not a zero. This doesn't happen, my dear students. You have to understand the zero. What is the meaning of zero? You have to show that you know what is the meaning of a zero. The meaning of a zero is that value when you substitute in the place of x, end answer is number 0. This you have understood, and for that you have to solve it by this method only, no other method. And then the other one, some people have even done by alpha plus beta is equal to minus b upon a, and then showed that alpha plus beta. No, that is when actually when they are asking you to confirm, to verify that this formula alpha plus beta is equal to minus b upon a. When you have to verify this formula, that time you have to do by that method. Alpha plus beta is equal to minus b upon a, alpha into beta is equal to c upon a. When we have to verify this formula, that time though that method which you have to use, many students have used it now. Don't get confused, my dear students. This is again I am telling dear students, don't get bothered about it, don't get discouraged, definitely don't get scared. Many of you must be feeling अरे सब mix हो रहा है, सब jumble हो रहा है. Don't worry, these mistakes are allowed. You have to do these mistakes and I have to explain these mistakes. I know I am very much prepared, my dear students. I am mentally very much prepared that I have to keep on segregating things again and again and bringing them to your notice, and that's what you also have to do. Every time you will jumble, let that jumbling take place. When the jumbling happens and then I give the clarification, this is why this is jumble, why you are not supposed to get confused over here. Now today we have come to know, we have again revised that when they are asking us to identify whether a given value is a 0 or not, at that time you have to just identify a 0 or not. For that 0 is what? 0 is a value which when you substitute in place of x and answer is 0. ये याद रखो बस, and solve it in that method. Are you getting my point? And you also understood those, this I can't use. This is when actually alpha plus beta is equal to minus b upon a. When I have to prove that, at that time I have to use this method. Alpha plus beta is equal to minus b upon a. Here there is no confusion that whether any 0 is there or not. There is no confusion whether a number is a 0 or not. Number is already a 0. You are finding the numbers. You are finding the zeros by factorization method. As you do over here. Find the factors by factorization method. Find the zeros by factorization method. Like this. And after that, see whether the sum of the zeros are matching with minus b upon a. Product of the zeros are matching with c upon a. That is another step. Don't worry, my dear student. These again, if you will do this mistake 3-4 times more, don't worry. The more you, but every time do it from your own brain. Do it on your own. Every time, let the mistakes take place. The more you revise, the more you get a pinch, feel the hurt and carry on. It is much expected and much welcome, my dear students. It is not only expected, I even welcome them. This again is a very nice one. Many of you, I really will not solve the 7-1. You all please do that, because only miscalculations have taken place. But I will definitely give a look to this question number 8. ऐसा नहीं होता है ना, question number 7 भी solve करना पड़ेगा. See, on dividing p of x by polynomial g of x. No. Here, this is different. No, sorry. Question number 6. Question number 6 and question number 8. See here, they are telling by dividing the second. Now here what happens? Second polynomial by the first one. So here 3x raised to the power of 4 plus 5x cube minus 7x square plus 2x plus 2. Nice revision once more. This is required. That's what I am telling. See, my dear students. Revision how many ever times. Don't get bored of doing it. What is the concept? Whatever is the sign over here, first it is copied over there. But why? Because this is a plus sign over here. When this is also a plus sign over here, at that time whatever is the sign over here, you copy it over there. So now it is plus, so this stays plus. 1, 3 are 3. Of course that should be written afterwards. X square into x square will give me x raised to the power of 4. So plus 1 3 are 3 x raised to the power of 4 plus 3 3s are 9. Once few students have written 3 3s are 6 and there they have gone. 3 3s are 9 x cube. So plus 9 x cube. 1 3s are 3 x square plus 3 x square. Subtraction minus. This is gone. 5 minus 9 will give you minus 4x cube. Here also some people have not written minus sign over here. This is the sign. And some have done, they have got just 1. I don't know how. Minus 10x square plus 2x plus 2. Now this is minus sign. Because this is plus, whatever is the sign over here, you will copy it over there. 1 4s are 4. X square into x will give you x cube. Plus minus 4x cube plus minus 3 4s are 12 x square plus minus 4x. Subtraction, minus will become plus, minus will become plus, minus will become plus. This is gone. Minus 4x cube plus 4x cube is gone. Minus 10x square plus 12x square will become 2x square plus 6x plus 2. This is plus, so this also will be plus. 1 2s are 2 x square plus 3 2s are 6x plus 2. Subtraction, plus will become minus, plus will become minus, plus will become minus. They all are gone. This is gone, this is gone, this is gone. Remainder is 0. This you have understood. Okay, fine. And now when we go to the 8th question, divide the polynomial p of x by g of x. So here what happens? See, p of x is x raised to the power of 4 minus 5x plus 6. So I will have to write everything. x raised to the power of 4 minus 5x plus 6. And here we have got 2 minus x square. But what happens? This minus should be written first. X square should be written first, not minus. Variable and the constant should be written last. So minus x square comes over here. And then here, x raised to the power of 4 plus 0x cube plus 0x square minus 5x plus 6. Now what happens, my dear students? In this question we have seen whatever is the sign of this will go up because there is a plus over here. But when there is a minus over here, whatever is the sign of this, the reverse with the opposite will go up. When this is minus, the first variable is negative. So what happens? 1 ones are 1, x square into x square. So now this will become minus minus plus x raised to the power of 4 plus minus minus 2x square minus 2x square. Subtraction plus will become minus, minus will become plus. This is gone. Now this also I don't have to write. 0x square plus 2x square will give me 2x square minus 5x plus 6. Again the same thing. This is plus. Because the first term is negative, the opposite of this will go up. And then x square, 1 into 2 will give me 2. X square will remain x square, then will minus minus plus 2x square plus minus minus 4. Subtraction plus will become minus, minus will become plus. This will be minus 5x plus 10. You can't do anything because this is now smaller than this. So this is your quotient, this is your remainder. This is the main difference between the two questions. Whenever there is a first term is plus, the same signs will be copied up. Because this was minus 4x cubed, so I copied minus 4. But if this would have been minus, then I would have copied plus over there. The opposite of this goes up. Okay, my dear students, with this I just hope that you all have got everything right. The seventh one is actually very easy, but most of you all people have done huge miscalculations. And in that plus minus miscalculations, you all have lost your marks. Just practice that, my dear students. Nothing difficult in that. Okay, my dear students. So I hope you all have enjoyed this. Don't get discouraged. Solve it again. We have got one more paper coming. Solve it again. And now we have to prepare for coordinate geometry also, my dear students. See, remember, before we go to the actual exam, we have got one more exam. That time also you will be revising coordinate geometry and circle also, and then you will be solving those papers also, everybody together. Social science, definitely you solve only those lessons which are there in your exam, this coming exam. The lessons that you don't have to prepare for them now. Maths, but definitely. And during your exam, definitely prepare only your syllabus when your exam is going on, simple. So that when your exam is over, still we have to be in the flow. We have to be in the flow. And then we have to really swim with force. Yes, my dear students. I'm enjoying as the time is coming closer. I'm getting more and more prepared. Okay, my dear students. Take care, stay home, stay happy. Most important, stay happy and enjoy the 10th. Not your life, enjoy your 10th. It is really worth an experience of lifetime, my dear students. Love you all. Take care. Bye.